you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Are you ready? It's the Roundtable. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Robert Bannon. Welcome to the Roundtable Talks. Today, we have a really interesting, inspiring, talented, wonderful story that starts off kind of sad and then ends up with a happy ending. And don't we love that? Derek Vanderhorst is here. Derek Vanderhorst is a singer, a songwriter, a performer. He's worked on some of the biggest movies ever. You know, sound engineer and mixer have to be done in movies that they actually take all of the sounds in post. He'll explain it better than I do, but he woke up one day with a lump, got the lump checked, and ended up having stage 4 cancer. Lost his voice, and then ends up... you're going to be inspired. Stick around for the story. And everybody out there who's struggling with a medical condition, especially cancer, which affects all of our families, I send my love and light to all of you because I know how devastating it is and how hopeless it feels. But sometimes there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm hoping, giving encouragement, because our attitude and the positivity that is shown by our next guest is hopefully going to save a lot of lives. His album is out. Listen, this is a story that you need to hear. You talk about taking your life into your own hands, making dreams come true, taking that step forward. I'm so excited for you to hear what's next. Derek Vanderhorst is here. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. Wow, what an intro.
No, please, it's all true. I have listened to your album. The album is called Wildflower. It's available right now wherever music is streamed. That's the world we live in. Streams music.
That's right. Yeah, streamed or live.
And there's the album cover right there. What a beautiful, beautiful album.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I've had Can't Fall in Love with You kind of in my head since I've heard I was going to have the chance to talk to you. I know this is a big question and a big story. How did this album come to be?
So, yeah, this is kind of a big question. I was working, doing films, mixing films, sound design on film, and the hours are incredibly long. Oh, and that's my friend Tig Notaro. I actually moved to Los Angeles with her.
Oh, that is
back
amazing.
I don't know, in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's funny. You pulled up that picture. I haven't seen that in a while. That's great. I was working full time, probably seven days a week, mostly long hours. And I was mixing a film with director David Talbert, and the other mixer I was working with, my buddy Wayne, said, "Hey man, I see a lump on your neck." And I had a big beard then, and he saw it through the beard. And I had been feeling it for a few months, but I thought it was just maybe a swollen gland. But once it got that big that he could see it, I thought I better go see a doctor. So I went and saw a doctor, and then kind of all hell broke loose from there. He literally looked at me, brought me into his office. He had this big wood desk, like House, if you've ever seen that show. Sat me down and was like, "Look, this is very serious. I want to get you in to see a surgeon tonight." Called a surgeon, had him come back to the surgeon's office. I drove over there. He put a scope up my nose, down my throat, and scheduled a surgery for a biopsy the next week. And it was confirmed that I had stage 4 head and neck cancer. And the treatments for head and neck cancer, and I'll be drinking a lot of water and stuff because I don't have saliva anymore. And I chew gum, so if it sounds rude, just give me a pass.
No, I chew gum and I have no excuse. So
okay, good. It just kind of keeps my mouth wet. And so we started, it was full on treatment. Like, we got into UCLA, met with the oncologists, the surgeons, the radiation oncologists, the chemo oncologists, and it was fast and furious from there. And we did radiation treatment, which is the primary treatment for head and neck cancer, with chemotherapy as well. And the problem was the chemotherapy can make you deaf, and the radiation can make it so you lose your voice. And, if you think of Val Kilmer, somebody like that who went through the same head and neck cancer. But none of these things happened. And they said I would never grow a beard back. So here we are. that is how my life changed, and then how I went back to
Well,
music.
Derek, you know what's so fascinating to me is I have an aunt who I found cancer behind her sinus, and then went down her neck, and I saw the process of her treatment, and she's in remission at the moment.
Oh,
But
good.
after a very brutal, I mean, the treatment of it is not fun. Weight loss, trouble eating, trouble swallowing, trouble drinking anything. What
Yeah. Yeah, you can't eat, or I mean, it was, and then they'll give you a feeding tube if you lose too much weight, and then you lose your swallow muscles, and then you might be on a feeding tube the rest of your life. So it's a pretty horrendous treatment. Yeah.
it is your
Yeah.
story when I
And I'm
read
so sorry. How's your aunt? How old is
She's
she?
okay. She's almost in her late 60s, and she's okay. She's in remission, and
Okay,
she's fought
good.
the good fight. And I hear stories of yours,
Yeah.
and you taking music into your hands after that incredible experience that you had. Um, my little album and my little whole show is inspired on something called Unfinished Business. It's about giving up on singing at 19 years old, becoming a teacher, and then 15 years later coming back to it because it's something that's kind of
Wow.
changed me. What how did you fall in love with music? Where are you from? How did you fall in love with music? And how did you veer from being a performer into behind the scenes doing the sound engineer work that you did?
So I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and went to like a crazy religious school. If you've seen Jesus Camp, that was kind of my
Yes.
upbringing.
Okay.
uh, and then went to college at University of Colorado, and then was like, hey, this, like, everything is upside down and backwards from what I'd been taught. So I had $100 or $150 I'd saved up and moved to San Francisco with that money and to do music. I was like, I'm going to go do music. Like, I do not want to wear a suit and tie. I don't want to like live a normal life. Like it was a very rigid kind of upbringing in my schooling. So I kind of was rebelling against all that. And I went to San Francisco, maybe 89, 90, and started a band called the Rosemarys. And we, played out, toured a bit, and released some songs, an album. And then I left that band in 91, moved to Los Angeles, and started a band there. And then I was assigned to Rod Stewart's label for a bit there, and figured out I couldn't make any money. So I started like holding a boom for Hard Copy, which was the first tabloid TV show.
Yes.
Like it was like that started it all. So I just stand there with the boom, like holding it as they interviewed actors or whatever, running after them. It kind of started the whole my process into film. And so that was the production side of it. And then I really enjoyed the music and like recording and all of that. Went back to CU Denver, finished my degree in recording arts, moved back to LA, and got into film.
And some of the films, everyone watching some of the films that you have mixed and worked on, No Country for Old Men, Hidden Figures. I love The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I love that movie. Jessica Chastain both of them give a performance of a lifetime in that movie. So for people that don't understand, firstly, if you listen to me, every song you listen to on the radio has been mixed. Somebody has to sit there and listen to the song thousands of times.
Yes. And same with movies. You have all these elements. Like in music, you have drums, bass, keyboards, vocals, backup vocals, fiddle, banjo, whatever the instrumentation is. So you might have 50 or 60 tracks of music that need to go into two speakers, right? So film is that on a much larger scale.
I was going to ask for people who don't know. So the music is recorded, the movie is recorded, and then what is the job of the mixer in this? Like, what do you do, and do you work closely with the production? How does that all work together?
We work closely with the director and picture editor and visual effects after the film is shot, and they start editing picture, and they do many versions of it and test it and things like that. But we we'll edit the dialogue. We'll use different takes if like words are messed up. There's a mic bump, things like that. We'll shoot ADR, which is a dialogue replacement if we need to change the line, or if we have to fix a line that had radio interference or whatever. technical reasons. And then we'll cut all the backgrounds from the air, the birds, the cars going by, the people talking in the restaurant, the leaves on the trees, everything you hear in the movie is added because the little microphone doesn't pick up anything except the voice. So we'll do, and then we have effects for like explosions and jet buys and, any like guns, all those kinds of things, but even doors opening, closing, every sound you can imagine in a movie is added.
It's such a fascinating thing that I don't think many people really even realize all the work that goes into. We take it for granted when we show movie theater.
And like No Country for Old Men, when he's walking at the beginning, Catherine Harper was the Foley artist, and I think I recorded her on that. I don't remember, but she added leather, like creaks for the boots, and then would drop little pebbles as he was walking, and then also did the footsteps. So it's that much detail is put into the making of the film.
Well, it is a whole interview and conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole, yeah.
I mean, it is really something that when I was reading about it and looking at the films you've done, they're a prolific body of work that you have made us enjoy even a little bit much more based on the work and hours you've sat watching the film and making sure that the sound is perfect. Yeah. How did that? So really, your life experience from growing up to being in music to then going into the movies brings you to this diagnosis in 2016, and now we're here in 2022 and we get to talk about this album. How is the album inspired by the events and your health? Is it inspired by love? Is it inspired by family? Is it inspired by all of it? Where did you get the inspiration for these songs?
Like the kids say, all the things. Like from song to song. Some of it is about my childhood. Hillbilly Princess is about having to wear a uniform to school, and a girl who I had a crush on in, I think my junior or senior year. So it's about that. But the song that you mentioned, Can't Fall in Love, is about, I was married at the time, and like she couldn't be there for me in the way that I needed. For whatever reason. And so that song is about that. And there's songs on there about like just coming back from COVID and seeing people in the real world. And just the whole experience. That time was crazy because cancer, COVID, lockdowns. So everything I had to do was kind of online, and I couldn't speak. So I started taking these like vocal coaching to try and rehab my voice. And I didn't want to work as much, so it kind of gave me time to pick up the guitar again after maybe 20 years.
I hadn't really played seriously.
I hadn't played at all. Yeah, I don't even know if I touched it in 20 years, except moving it around from house to house or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I focused on Can't Fall in Love with You because it really struck me. There are fun, like Shake 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 at the end of the album is so much fun. And there are so many fun moments on the album as well, and the power and emotion. But what I am so moved by and Can't Fall in Love with You and some of the lyrics, like it's about loneliness. To me, I read it as the loneliness and about the relationship, and that's something that's universal. When you write, you wrote the music and the lyrics.
Yeah.
You're a deep guy, Derek.
I literally just a story about, I'll play that song for you today if you want.
No,
I was going to play a different song, but we'll do that one.
No, please play any.
No, we'll do that for sure.
It is something that, I just, when I listen to the album, I know the backstory to your story and about how short life is and how on a dime, in a moment, your life can really be turned upside down. And it's very moving to listen to. Many people listen to a single or one track. Listen to this album from start to finish. You really get a journey. It's a journey of a lifetime, really, that is yours. Can we talk a little bit about vocal rehab? Because that's another thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You were not speaking just mere years ago. You were not able to speak.
Yeah. Even 2 years ago, like I couldn't get through one line of vocals without choking. I mean, speaking of which, I'm going to get a drink here. Sorry.
That is
yeah, I would start choking trying to sing a line. And I found this vocal coach, Alan Rasco, who does like he helps people heal their vocal cords who have injured them, whether professional singers or whatever it is. And I was lucky enough to find him. And so I started online lessons with him. And I had started writing songs, and my buddy Max was singing on them. And I would, I talked to Alan about it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to release an album. I've got all the players picked out. Max is going to sing on it. And I wrote at that point, I think maybe 150 songs, just because we were in lockdown. So I was trying to write a song a day. Most of them were not good, but some of them were, and some of them made it to the album. And Alan was like, you know what? You're going to sing on the album. And I was like, no, that ain't going to happen. And he goes, don't record the album for a year and let's see where it is. And so we did vocal rehab for about a year and a half. And by that time, I was able to sing all the songs in one day, 2 takes each. Yeah. So it was a dramatic shift. And I've spoken to my oncologist about it. And so now he recommends for people who've gone through this to do vocal coaching.
And can you explain a little, what was the vocal coaching? Was it exercises? Was it different? It was.
It's all exercises. So when I started, and I still don't have much of a falsetto just because the injury to the vocal cords, but I could go from maybe a C to an F, which is only 4 home notes. And today I can go down to the G below the C, and I can hit the E above. So it's the range has increased dramatically since then. And it's all exercises, learning how to breathe, use your breath, and then strengthening the vocal cords. You sing, right?
Yeah. I'll let
so yeah, that's me too. I mean, I just it's like if Tom Waits was drunk. Well, he probably was drunk. So the vocal cords have like 3 layers, and it's teaching those muscles all to work together. And so he has, through those exercises, you learn.
Whenever anyone asks me about voice, it's a muscle, and it is something that has to be taken. It's like going to the gym. Yes. For little rubber bands that need some love and support to make sure.
Do. And I've had I know musicians who are at the top of their game, like guitar players and things. And one of them asked me, he's like, well, can you increase your falsetto and stuff through vocal lessons? And I said, can you get better at guitar through lessons? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you released the album earlier this year. And yes. What was it like the day you woke up and then this entered the world after this wild journey you've been on?
Yeah. It's and I should have brought him in. I'm in my little studio here. I just received the vinyl. By the way, it takes like 9 months to get the vinyl. I turned it in last November because everybody wants vinyl now. Yeah. Which is great because I have an old record player and my old amp, and that's what I listen to.
It is something so much fun and so retro and cool about listening to that. Putting the needle on the.
It is. Start making dinner or have appetizer, whatever. It's a thing, and then you go flip it. Yeah.
Well, if you're interested, you can follow Derek on The Real Derek V Music on Instagram, and you can go to derekvmusic.com and make sure you can stream the entire album. The album it's called Wildflower, and is streaming everywhere. And how about you health wise? What happens now? Do you get checked? Are you okay? Do you get treatment? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great now. So I went through, you had to get checked every 6 weeks for the first year and a half. And then it moved to 2 months, and then 3 months. And now get checked once a year. Yeah.
Derek, you're such an inspiration, not only health-wise and your tenacity and your perseverance, but to pick up the guitar, write an album, release it, learn how to literally not only talk, but sing again, is something that is so inspiring to so many people who are out here who are facing so many challenges physically, mentally, emotionally in these crazy times we're living in. You are the definition of perseverance, truly.
Well, my oncologist told me, my chemo oncologist, when he met with me the first day, he goes, cancer goes two ways, life or death. And whether that's physical death or emotional death, or physical life or emotional life. And he goes, you have to make the decision. Like, are you going to go through these treatments and be depressed and dwell in your cancer? And he's like, a lot of people go through severe depression after all these treatments. He goes, or are you going to embrace life and do something really cool with it? And he goes, I want you to make the decision before you leave. And if you make the right decision, you'll be coming back here and going, I'm grateful for the experience. I'm not glad I had cancer, but I'm grateful for the change in my life. And so that kind of set me on like the emotional journey as well. Right. So I have to thank him.
Well, and we thank you for that perspective. It's really something much needed and inspiring for sure.
Yeah, because we all go through depression and hard times, and like life is tough.
Life is, listen, I should have stopped in Zoloft, but I mean, we all have, we all have, we all faces our roller coasters and ups and downs, but the way you handle it is truly, the way that we get out of it. And hearing what you've been through, I don't know many people, Derek, and I'm being honest, I'm not just saying this, that would get a diagnosis like that and fight the fight like you did. It's something that is so scary. And then you took this, and now you're teaching so many other people that there is amazing life and art and love after such a moment.
Yeah, right. It is just a moment too. It doesn't feel like it at the time, but it is a moment. And I have found, like, I speak to a lot of people going through head and neck cancer and other forms of cancer, which is crazy that like so many people like you and your aunt like have been touched by cancer in a horrible way. Like it's horrible. It devastates a family, it devastates a life. We were talking about Tig earlier, and she went through double mastectomy, and it wreaks havoc. And it's amazing, like what I see come after cancer with so many people. And I'm not alone. Like there's so many people doing so many amazing things, and it's super inspiring to watch. But I do love, like, one of the reasons I want to do music is just to talk about this. Right?
Yeah.
To get people, especially men, like we don't go to the doctor. Mm-mm. Like if you feel something, like have your dentist check you every time you go in. It's crazy how many people are going through head and neck cancer right now. It's the same virus that gives women cervical cancer, gives men head and neck cancer. So it's a total epidemic right now.
Wow. I had no.
Yeah. And they have a vaccine for it, but I know vaccines are like some, whatever your belief is, but it can prevent this. And it is a crazy epidemic. When you go to UCLA Medical, like their radiation department, you'll see 100 people a day coming in and out for radiation treatment for head and neck. It's a terrible epidemic.
Well, everybody, that's another great lesson for today, is that, go to the doctor, get checked, especially if you don't feel well. Don't be, being afraid of going and not wanting to know is not going to help you in the long run. It's only going to make things worse. I wish we could destigmatize the fear that people have about medicine and doctors, because it's very scary. Maybe you can save yourself before it's a bigger issue. I'm going to be somebody who on a road trip, or when I'm in my home trying to be reading a book, I'm going to be turning to Wildflower way after this interview, because it is.
Oh man, that means a lot.
Has definitely moved me. It's beautiful. Would you mind? Can I be imposed to ask you to sing a little song? You don't have to sing anything in particular, whatever you. But we would love to be able to.
It'll be hard to get me to stop singing.
Said like a true performer. I love that. That is what.
But I will do Can't Fall in Love. Whoa, excuse me.
Then I'm gonna have to take myself off the screen, give you the stage, and then I'll just sit here and cry on my own. No.
So yeah, I want to say before this, like the friends like who came and took me to treatments and like took care of me and my family and came out, and my best friend from Colorado came out. And so like I was alone, but also had a lot of amazing friends around me as well. So yeah. Let me find a good key for this right now. And get that capo on, right? Let's see. It's been so long since I played this song. I got to tune up here. Here we go. Just tune for a second. All right, Can't Fall in Love. This capo's giving me trouble. These old shoes were like an old lost friend. Haven't got a thread or a stitch to mend. Old saying true, no place like home. Walls are empty and I'm left alone. Never did like the clothes I wear. Never liked the way I comb my hair. Never understood why I held your hand. Never liked the way my jokes they land. Never really thought that we'd grow old. You closed the door, left me in the cold. Never understood the words I sing, but you never really listened anyway. Never really listened anyway. There's one thing that I can't do. Fall in love again with you. Only thing that I can do. Fall in love again with you. Is fall in love again with you. Is fall in love again with you. All right, here we go. Watching as the crows fly high. Got the freedom on my mind. Girls in the corner smoking cigarettes. I sit here gasping for my breath. When you're gone and it ain't too soon. You took the air out of this room. You took the air out of this room. You took the air out of this room. Never really thought that we grow old. You closed the door, left me in the cold. Never understood the words I sing. Never really listened anyway. You never really listened anyway. There's one thing that I can't do. Fall in love again with you. Only thing that I can't do. Fall in love again with you. Fall in love again with you. Fall in love again with you. Fall in love again with you.
That is such. That song is so moving and beautiful beyond the lyrics, the melody. You sound so good, Derek.
Man, thanks.
Derek, I can't believe your story. It is giving me so much inspiration. Thank you for doing that song in particular. I mean it. The second that when that lyric about the shoes that are an old friend, I was like, I just tuned right in. So the album is available everywhere. It's called Wildflower, and you can stream it on all streaming platforms.
Or buy the vinyl on my website.
Or buy the vinyl. It's in at derekvmusic.com.
Yeah, I think I have like 80 copies left. Most of them have sold, but I have like 80 left.
That's awesome. So go to www.derekvmusic.com or follow Derek at the real Derek V Music. And so we'll hopefully be hearing more music from you. Are you still working on the movies as well?
I am. I moved to Colorado last week, so to do more music and to tour. But I will work on probably 1 or 2 movies a year.
All right, so then we'll be seeing you in live and in person as well.
Yeah, I'm playing out a lot now,
so I can't wait for you when you venture out to the East Coast, Derek. I'm there.
Oh, that's amazing! Thank you.
We'll be looking forward to it, and your story and your truth and your music is going to help a lot of people. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks goes to
when
you.
I'm on the East Coast, maybe we do it in person.
Done. That's a deal. Please.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time and your talent today.
All right.
Wow. That song, man, woo! That song really gets to me. It is really beautiful about loneliness, especially after the pandemic we've all sat through and having to do everything via Zoom, like talking to you right now. As the world opens up more and more, we take these things less for granted, for sure. I know I do. So thank you for being here. We join us every single week. Every week we're live on Thursdays with the Roundtable with me and our special guests. Plus, the Roundtable talks, interviews artists about their art and their heart. And I hope to see you here. Subscribe, link below, and just click the link, be notified, be alerted when we have new music videos and new things out. And also you can follow me at robertbannon.com or on Instagram at Robert M. Bannon. It's the Roundtable, and I hope to see you really soon. Everybody, thanks for being here, and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.